So, Blade Runner's a great film, isn't it? Well, no, you're wrong. Blade Runner can go fuck itself and its stupid asshole. Yeah, that's right. Bring it on, internet.
I don't give a fuck, you fucking fuck! Hell yeah, you fucking suck! Come on, tell me how much we fucking suck! Hell yeah, you fucking suck! Hell yeah, we fucking suck! Hell yeah, we fucking suck! Oh, fuck us all!
Well, that was one hell of an opening line, wasn't it? I suppose I'm going to have to back that statement up with some actual evidence, aren't I? I've got reasons. How many reasons? That's right, 10 reasons. Number 10. This is something that Blade Runner totally missed out on and would have actually had some level of relevance when he tapped that sweet android poontang. Deckard has a fucking wife. Yeah, that's right. In the book, he has a wife, and there's a whole plot area involving the emotional state augmenter called a mood box. Now, this would have been interesting to see on screen, and would have added a whole different element and dimension to the bland character of Deckard. Now, what would have been interesting would have been seeing him bickering and squabbling with this ratty and irritable bitch, who chooses to be depressed and mopes around in front of the TV like some jobless layabout slob. Now that would have been tense and compelling. Number 9. Now in the book there's a section after he takes out the first android at the Opera House. More on that later, where Deckard gets taken off to a police station that he's never seen or never even heard of. He's completely out of his depth and he's sure in for some hell. When he gets there, it's worse than even that. The station's manned and staffed purely by androids who think they're human. Now there's a tense situation for you right there. Unlike fighting some kind of gimpy spaz droid in a street full of people that don't phone the police. No, let's put an android bounty hunter in a situation where he's surrounded by the artificial bastards and see what happens. He shits his pants and gets the fuck out of there. Why? Because he's human, and his pants are full of shit. Number 8. Now this is just going to sound incredibly pedantic, but it's Rosen Industries, not the Tyrell Corporation. What the fuck was the point in changing that name? To make it sound ominous and have some kind of relatable bearing to our own terrifying existence. Please, the book called it Rosen Industries. What the fuck was the point in changing the name? Oh yeah, that's right, just to make pedants like me bitch and moan about tiny inconsistencies and divergences from the fucking source material. Number 7. Now this is quite important. I know that men like going to strip clubs. It's just that 90% of the time our partners don't allow us to go anywhere near the places. So when one appears in the film, well, that's just an excuse to get a free boner in the cinema, courtesy of Johnny Filmmaker. But when it detracts from the story and is utterly pointless and moves away from a perfectly good plot which makes Deckard question the nature of humanity, well sir, that just gets my goat. The first android that Deckard retires is an opera singer at an opera hall. It gets him in trouble and makes him think about his job. It's an important step in getting to know the character and how he works and what his motivations are. But what's more important? That's right people, boobs. And a completely irrelevant and pointless plotline about a fucking robot snake. Number 6. Right, well this point isn't going to seem that relevant until we get to number 3. But Rachel is a vindictive bitch who kills the goat that Deckard buys with his fuck-em-up money he gets from fucking up them androids. It's almost the worst thing she could do to him. Kill his actual real-life goat. Well, bar killing his annoying wife, of course. But hey, fuck it. A goat's a goat. In some cultures it's more useful and more fuckable than a woman. Number 5. Now, in the book, there's a character called J.R. Isidore who didn't leave Earth when he had the chance.
Get your ass to Mars.
No, Arnie, he didn't heed that advice. And as such became genetically corrupted by the nuclear fallout and became a subhuman called a chicken head. He still served society though, working for a robot animal repair service that acted like real vets. He also made some wicked new friends that wanted him to help them fuck up some random dude called Deckard, and one even wanted some of his retard pork sword. His being characterises the decline of humanity in this world, which could technically classify him having the empathy of an android, as he gruesomely eviscerates a cat looking for its motherboard. So why change him into a creepy pillock with some fucking retarded aging disorder that hangs out in paedophile's paradise? Never mind this shared consciousness experience thing offered by Mercer, because if that shit was in there, the film would be an extra hour long. Number 4. Now, this really is an important point. Pris Stratton is supposed to be the same model android as Rachel is. You know, the robot that the Tyrell Corporation, or fucking Rosen Industries, or whatever you want to call them, introduced to Deckard. In the book, it's a poignant moment when Deckard retires her, because by this point he's had sex with Rachel and he feels a sense of love towards her. So it cuts him deep when he has to cap Pris in her ass. So why did you fucking cast Daryl Hannah as Pris? I mean, you could have saved money there and a lot of time and stayed truer to the text without having to cast a fucking mermaid. Number 3. Animals in the book are very symbolic. Most of the animals on Earth have been killed by the nuclear holocaust, and as such the animals that have survived have been kept, reared and bred as pets for humans. The animals in the book are cared for and represent humanity's need for animal companionship, and in a way represent a facet of human nature. Animals are a big deal in the book. So when Rachel kills Deckard's goat, it's a big deal. When Deckard finds a toad and thinks that it's non-synthetic, hell, he shits a fucking brick and gets a full-on animal boner. Until of course he finds out that it's actually a robot toad. So why limit it to a fucking robot snake and a brief glimpse of a fucking owl? Number 2. Rachel in the film is a lot different from Rachel in the book. Rachel in the film is a coy, good-natured android who gets seduced by horny old Deckard and falls in love whilst wishing desperately to be a human. In the book, however, it's a completely different story. Hell, she's a specially made robo-whore that's there so that Rosen can seduce and get rid of the bounty hunters that threaten their technology. She actively seduces Deckard, making him cheat on his wife with a creature that can arguably feel no human emotion. I mean, fuck, that's like me cheating on my girlfriend with the kettle. And that was the most romantic, happy, and scolded my penis has ever been. But hey, it's Harrison Ford. Who'd believe that he'd get seduced? He's a seduction beast. Number 1. Now, this is my number 1 reason why Blade Runner sucked, and you have to believe me because I'm being 100% serious. In the book, the world has been ravaged by nuclear war. There's radioactive fallout everywhere, and radioactive storms threaten daily existence and the corruptible source of all humankind, our DNA. Through pure procreation with uncorrupted humans, humanity can still subsist on Earth. So why isn't Harrison Ford running around wearing a lead codpiece like Deckard does in the fucking book? I mean, fuck, it's not like it would have been difficult for them to just show a scene where he slipped on a codpiece, and hell, that would have been funny as shit. So that's that. My totally serious, 100% heartfelt video on why Blade Runner sucked. And that's the end of the Dick special. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. And overall, I think we're better, more whole, rounded human beings for the experience, right? So if you did enjoy it, like the Facebook page. I know you're probably using Facebook whilst you're currently on YouTube, so it shouldn't take you very long. You should see, like, underneath here, underneath my hands. And, of course, subscribe to the channel. It's just up there. Ooh, look. Click it, you prick. Click it, you prick. But if you'll excuse me, this has been a tiring afternoon of video making, so I'm gonna go find myself a robo-whore that won't scold my penis so badly. I wonder if Jude Law's up for a bit of a session.